Back on October 11th, the Young Turks broke a story about Donna Brazile and how she was giving questions to the Clinton team while she worked at CNN. Now, of course, it was WikiLeaks that gave us the emails in the first place, and we started looking through those emails as all the press were. Now, there are a ton of emails. Some of them get highlighted, others do not. Our reporter Jordan Charton at 11:35 a.m. Eastern on October 11th, here let's show you that tweet, sent out this tweet, the first on the topic. While still CNN contributor, Donna Brazile tipped off Hillary Clinton to CNN town hall death penalty question day before, and he included the emails in question there. Just a little bit later, less than half an hour later, Jordan sent that over to Mediaite. Mediaite.com picked it up. They ran a story on it. And then other press started running stories on it. And then later, Jake Tapper came out and said that it was the wrong thing to do. Now, we have new emails and a resolution of what happened in this case. So back then, she had said in the emails, from time to time, I get the questions in advance. So that would seem to be deeply problematic. And their excuse was, no, in that case, we were working with TV1 and Roland Martin was the moderator of that town hall, and perhaps that's where they got the questions. In the beginning, Donna Brazile gave the excuse of, no, I was trying to get an answer from the Hillary Clinton people because I might get that question, and I want to know what their stance was because I might get that in a roundtable. Now, there was no such roundtable, and in fact, there was a question at that town hall phrased in exactly the way that the email suggested, and we showed you the videotape on that as well. So that was all proven out at the time. Now there are new emails that have come out in a new batch of WikiLeaks releases. So let's go to one of them right now. Here, it's from Donna Brazile to John Podesta, the campaign chair of Hillary Clinton's campaign, and Jennifer Palmieri, the head of her communications. Says, one of the questions directed to Hillary Clinton tomorrow is from a woman with a rash. Her family has lead poison, and she will ask, what, if anything, will Hillary do as president to help the people of Flint? And it goes on. Now, that is about a different debate that was held on CNN, not the town hall with Roland Martin. So these are two different events. So the whole idea of, we got it from TV1. I was getting it as a reason for me, talking about it in a roundtable. All those excuses don't fly here. Now, did they actually ask that question from a woman who said, hey, how are we going to help the people of Flint? Let's watch.
This is Mickey Wade. She's a public housing program manager and the mother of 2 kids. She says she's currently undecided and has a question that both of you will be able to weigh in on. Ms. Wade?
The water has impacted our lives in such a way that living comfortably in our home isn't the same anymore. The constant drives to pick up water just so my children can wash their hair, to wash our fruits and vegetables, and to brush our teeth is incredibly difficult. Once the pipes are replaced, I'm not for sure if I will be comfortable ever drinking the water. If elected president, what course will you take to regain my trust in the government?
Secretary Clinton, we'll begin with you.
Well, Nikki, it's a very fair question because your government at all levels have let you and your children and the people of Flint down.
It's a very fair question, and one I'm fully prepared for because I got it in advance. So now, some of the people who are defending Donna Brazile or CNN or Hillary Clinton say, well, these are easy questions. The one was about death penalty. That's standard. You're going to get that at some point in a presidential race. This is in Flint, Michigan. You're going to get this question. That's not the point. The point is you shouldn't leak the questions in advance to one of the candidates. That is atrocious. It doesn't matter if the questions are easy or difficult. And it gives one of the candidates an unfair advantage. If this is such common practice, which, by the way, I didn't know, is CNN willing to admit that it's common practice? Of course not, right? It's no big deal. Then why didn't you leak it to Bernie Sanders? Why don't you leak it to Donald Trump right now? No, of course it's outrageous. And now, another excuse this time around was Donna Brazile they say Donna Brazile met that woman randomly while passing out water. Wait a minute. How would she know that she's then going to ask a question in a debate? No more excuses. This is absolutely clear. She was leaking questions. In fact, there's a new part of the leaks that refers to the first set of questions that she had leaked about the death penalty. And let me show you that. And again, the headline here, the header of her email from Donna Brazile to Jennifer Palmieri, the same one as we had before. From time to time, I get the questions in advance. And then she says in the body of this email, which is part of the earlier chain, I rarely hear it. I'll send a few more, though some questions Roland submitted. So that's about the town hall with Roland Martin. So how many more did she send? Does CNN know how many she sent? The Young Turks has reached out to CNN. They have not given a response to that. But today, they finally made a decision. She is out. Now, before I give you CNN's statement, I want to tell you one last piece of this puzzle. In between the two sets of email revelations, Jordan had also found Donna Brazile after one of the debates and asked her some tough questions. Later, Megyn Kelly would ask similar questions, but here was Jordan again, first on the scene, and she wanted a stonewall, as you'll see here.
Do you owe the voters an apology for passing a question for a town hall off to the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Sir, you know what? I wish when you got your facts, you read the emails. And
I did read a lot of them.
Well, you clearly did not read my email, sir. The Democratic National Committee, as Secretary Clinton alluded to tonight, was a victim of a cybercrime.
You keep saying that, but the email was that you passed it along.
Private emails were stolen from individuals
Right.
that had no right being trafficked in the public sphere.
We've heard this, but what about you passing a question to Hillary Clinton's campaign, the town hall before?
Trump badger women. You're welcome.
Yes,
to
a journalist asking a question is badgering you.
Yes, as I've stated repeatedly, and I'll state it again for the record, I have never been privileged as long as I've been not just a part of CNN, which let me just say how proud I am to have been a contributor for CNN and other news outlets. And no one has ever shared questions with any of us involved in CNN.
Well, that appears not to be true. Another question for CNN is, who is sharing the questions with Donna Brazile? Does Donna Brazile have access to all the questions in all the debates? Because it certainly isn't just a TV One thing, as they claimed the first time around, because here's another debate, the one we just showed you about Flint, where she had the questions again. Is it a producer sharing it? Is it an executive sharing it? Who's making the decisions to share it with Donna Brazile, even if they don't know that she's sharing it with Hillary Clinton's team? How many more emails were there? She asked in the middle. You haven't read all my emails. Well, that's true. The ones we've read are pretty bad. I suspect that if we read them all, it might be worse because there are references to how you will send even more questions. So this isn't personal. And in fact, I've said on a number of occasions as we've covered this story that Donna Brazile has been very decent to me, and I like her as a person. And then people will criticize me and say, oh, don't cover for her. We're the ones who broke the story. That's the whole point. Even if you like the person, you've got to do the news. And the news is she sent these emails. There's no question about it. She leaked the questions, and that is unacceptable. It isn't personal. And part of the reason I tell you that is because it isn't like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. There's this one evil person named Donna Brazile, or one evil organization named CNN, or one evil candidate named Hillary Clinton. The problem is the system. When CNN hires nothing but insiders, what does it do? It risks leaking all these questions to the candidates who are insiders. So Paul Begala is still at CNN. Does he have access to some of the questions? I don't know. I'm not saying that we've got any information on him. But I'm giving you an example of literally dozens of hosts and contributors on CNN that are insiders. So does he have the same access as Donna Brazile did? Would he leak it to Bernie Sanders? Of course not. He supports Hillary Clinton. So now Corey Lewandowski's inside the building. He's a CNN contributor. Now, before, the Trump guys were outsiders. Well, now he's an official candidate of the Republican Party. He's an insider. Well, can Corey Lewandowski leak questions to the Trump campaign? Maybe. How much of a reign does CNN have on these questions? Do producers have access to them? Do executives have access to them? Who do the hosts and contributors have access to them? Those are legitimate questions. And the problem isn't Lewandowski or Donna Brazile. The problem is a system built on insiders working with one another with the same perspective who want to help one another. They never leak the questions to outsiders because there are no outsiders in the building. So finally today, yes, CNN says Donna Brazile is not with us anymore. Their spokesperson said on October 14th, CNN accepted Donna Brazil's resignation as a CNN contributor. Funny how you didn't tell us that after the first set of emails, and when we were asking questions, you all were saying, okay, this is inappropriate and the Russians hacked this and how dare you talk about this. Well, it turns out you claim you took action all the way back on October 14th. Now that the second set of emails have come out, now you tell us about that. Gee, I wonder why we don't have complete faith in you guys. I can't quite tell. And today again, they put out a statement, CNN does. We are completely uncomfortable with what we have learned about her interactions with the Clinton campaign while she was a CNN contributor. CNN never gave Brazil access to questions, prep material, attendee list, background information, or meetings in advance of a town hall or debate. Well, even if that's true, well, golly gee willikers, she got that access anyway, and she happens to work at CNN, which held those debates in town halls. When you pack the building filled with insiders who have friends in these campaigns, they are going to help those campaigns. They help them on air anyway, and you pay them to help those people on air. Apparently, they also help them off air, and then you're going to go around like it's Casablanca and you're shocked to find insiders in the building. Yes, and that is exactly the system that leans against outsiders, to say the least. And when outsiders say, hey, you guys don't represent our perspective, you all pretend that you don't know what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about.
Did you guys know that we are only accountable to our members? These are the people that help keep our show independent and help prevent us from getting censored from corporate interests. If you want to help keep TYT independent, just go to tytnetwork.com/join and become a member.